Welcome to the finals here in Cincinnati on the SCG Tour. Cedric Phillips, Craig Krempels here in the booth. The players have been given the go-ahead, and we are underway here in the finals between Bobby Fortanely and Jeff Hoogland. Amulet Bloom versus Kiki Cordes. Jeff's going to start things off with a Rage of Verge Thicket into a Birds of Paradise. For Bobby, he just had a Teleria West, and we'll see just how explosive his start can be here.
It's looking like he has one of his slower draws, and Jeff has come out with a Mana Accelerant, so this might be the recipe that Jeff needs.
Sarah Vision's here for Bobby. Primeval Titan, Radiant Fountain, the cards he's looking at for the Scry. Bobby's last name confirmation.
And he's doing a little math there. He's wondering if he Summer Blooms next turn, how soon can he get this Titan onto the board?
Well, Sarah Vision's done resolving here for Fortanely, and now here's a Gemstone Mine. 2 mining counters on it now as he's going to play. It looks like a sleight of hand. Hive Mind Summoner's Pact in there.
Those are some interesting ones.
He's already got a Pact in hand. Hive Mind, it's weird because I feel like Jeff's deck, especially with Birds of Paradise, can easily pay for at least one Pact.
Yep.
But he's going to go with the Hive Mind. I think part of the reason we might see him go with that is because he has Summoner's Pact and Pact Negation in hand. For Jeff, he's going to play a Courser. Take a look at the top card. It's a copy of Eternal Witness, going to pass the turn back. Fortanely will untap those 2 lands, getting ready to take a draw step here.
Courser is not the most exciting Centaur in this matchup.
I'm inclined to agree. No, you leave that little 2/4 alone. Here's Summer Bloom. Jeff is, I don't know if you've never seen this here from Jeff before, he's pressed F6.
Okay.
That's what that represents. So here is a Simic Growth Chamber.
I actually haven't seen that before.
Yes. He's expecting to be dead. I don't think he's going to be. There's land 3. Here's land 4. Going to get 4 land drops for the turn, Will Fortanely. Cavern of Souls going to name Giant there for his Titans, if they ever do show up. And Jeff with a Wooded Foothills. And he'll sacrifice that.
And if Jeff chooses to deploy a couple of his birds here, Bobby has to be back off of the Pact plan.
Mm-hmm. We'll see the top card is Jeff's deck here in just a moment. But with how Bobby's hand is lined up here, Plains on the top of the deck, I actually think this double pact plus Hive Mind plan is going to work. Here comes the Courser. And this is the thing that we talked about kind of at the top, where Jeff just doesn't have a lot of relevant cards in the matchup.
Yeah, not enough of his cards do enough.
Yeah, he's got Restoration Angel, Eternal Witness in hand. All that stuff just really doesn't matter at this stage. And Fortanely can happily cast a Hive Mind here.
Yep.
And now, if you've never seen this interaction, Summoner's Pact, that can give Jeff a Summoner's Pact. And with that on the stack, Pact Negation will be cast. And Jeff will get one of those as well. So he'll have to pay for Blue Pact and Green Pact. He cannot do that. And just like that, Bobby Fortanely is going to win game number 1 here over Jeff Hoogland.
So quick.
Does not take long, does the Amulet Bloom deck. Currently up a game here against Kiki Cordes. That means both players are going to go to the sideboard. So we are going to do the same. And we will start with Jeff, who's got Engineer Explosives, 3 Lightning Helix, 2 Slaughter Games, 3 Stony Silence, a Spellskite, a Reclamation Sage, a Fulminator Mage, Nylon of Rhetoric, an Obstinate Bailout, and a Linvala Keeper of Silence. For the last time here, what do we like for Jeff?
Well, a lot of things, actually. The Reclamation Stage, the Fulminator Mage, and the Eidolon of Rhetoric seem like easy adds. I expect to see the Slaughter Games come in. And it's funny, in order to counteract that, Bobby's going to have to bring in his Hornet Queen as another way to win the game.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what Bobby does here, because he could go a creature-ish route with this Hornet Queen, because Slaughter Games is likely going to name Primeval Titan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to name Hive Mind, because Bobby only has 2 Hive Minds in his list. Even though Jeff just lost to 1, whatever, there are only 2 copies. 2 is less than 4 if memory serves. So On Fortanelli's side, 3 Leon Sanctities, 2 Pyroclasm, 3 Seal Primordium, 2 Swan Song, and then 1 of in Hornet Queen, Slaughter Pact, Bajuka Bog, Ghost Quarter, and Engineered Explosives. Besides that Hornet Queen, anything stand out to you?
Possibly the Swan Songs.
Okay.
You know, he can fight the Court of Callings with them.
Yeah, I only because I guess I definitely agree, and I think chords are worth fighting over because Jeff has a lot of targets. It does feel a little narrow-ish.
It is narrow. It's very possible Bobby won't want to change very many cards in his deck.
Okay.
He's on the draw here, so Jeff is going to be able to come out ahead of him a little bit, and that's one of the only reasons he might need a card like that.
Okay. But I'm curious to see if he's going to bring in the Hornet Queen. You see Slaughter Game staring back. He only 2 copies, of course, but Jeff can cast it as soon as turn 3. So I'm curious to see if this Hornet Queen will come in, and if it's even reasonable if Hornet Queen does come in that Jeff feels like he can win. Or excuse me, Bobby feels like he can win by casting that.
Yeah, it's very possible he won't bother with the Hornet Queen because even casting it, it's possible it's not enough against Jeff's deck.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Jeff is going to be on the play here. So at the very least, it looks like Jeff is going to be walking out of this weekend as #1 on our Season 1 leaderboard, but he's wanted a title here for so long, especially in Modern, so we'll see if he can at least tie things up. In the meantime, for the very last time, we're going to talk about our StarCityGames.com holiday sale, as it does end today at 11:59 East Coast time. So head over to StarCityGames.com after this tournament does conclude. We crown a champion here in Cincinnati. The Black Lotus is gone. That belongs to Craig.
We know some of this stuff has been sold already.
Yeah, Craig got that as a gift, so he'll have that when he gets home. I decided to pick up the Mystic Gate, but if you wanted it, was GTA, Windswept Heath, the playmat, the Ursus Legacy box, which I haven't seen for a very long time. By all means, StarCityGames.com. Last chance for great deals. Ends Sunday at 11:59 p.m. East Coast time. Game number 2 about to be underway here between Bobby Fortanelli and Jeff Hoogland. For Jeff, another top 8 on the resume. I know he's happy about that, but he is someone who wants to get a trophy and show that this Kiki core deck is for real. And even if he doesn't win here, because it looks like a pretty tough matchup for him, I think this is a pretty legit deck. I've liked it when I've watched it.
Oh yeah, it seems to have game against most of everything, and he certainly knows what he's doing with it.
Yeah, he's been playing this deck for some time. This is the 11th Open Series top 8 for him. 1 invitational top 8 back in 2014, Season 3. And a lot of brews built and a lot of success with the brews, I would say, especially this Kiki core deck. Again, a lot of people assumed this sort of deck would die without Birthing Pod, but he has shown that this can work out just fine. The Court of Calling chains that he has access to are very powerful.
Yeah, he seems to have found the right mix of utility creatures, mana acceleration, disruption, and packaged it all together.
Now it's time to try to overcome kind of the boogeyman of the format, however. At least it feels that way right now.
Yeah, I made it sound like I wasn't that worried about Amulet Bloom at the start of the tournament.
Yeah?
I'm pretty worried now.
You changed your mind a little bit? Yeah, I don't know what happens. You know, when you're a deck like this, where not a lot of people play it,
yeah,
I would say. We had 5 copies in day 2 of 91 players, so it wasn't even overwhelming. You know, a deck like this, where not a lot of people play it because they're kind of pushed away from how confusing it is and how difficult it is. How do you even prepare for it?
It's an intimidating deck.
Yeah.
To pick up and play. How do you prepare to play against it?
Well, just think about when you were playing on the Pro Tour and stuff. You were playing a lot. I'm sure there were some intimidating decks. I can't think of anything off the top of my head during your era, but there were intimidating decks out there that people probably stayed away from.
Sure.
So, you know, even though those decks were intimidating, you as a player, would you play them? You as a player, would you say, most people aren't going to play that, I'm not going to bother bringing a sideboard? What was your approach?
When Jace the Mind Sculptor was in Standard with Squadron Hawk?
Yeah, Callblade.
Do you remember this?
So I remember it because I remember everything, but that was actually like the 6 months I took away from Magic.
Sure. Those matchups were so complicated and so involved, and I didn't want any part of them.
Okay.
You know, there were definitely players who I would beat because they would make mistakes, but there were definitely a couple of players who would walk into the room with that deck who were just better than me with it, and I didn't want to just get paired and almost auto-lose to them.
Sure.
You know, that matchup was so skill-intensive that the better player won almost every time.
So in that regard, it sounds like you stay away from those kind of decks at times. Like an Amulet Bloom, it doesn't seem like a deck that you would play.
I would have to put a lot of time in before I just picked it up. I wouldn't show up to a tournament next week and play it.
Sure. There's a lot of intricacies to this deck, but the players that have mastered it, they do quite well. And it looks like Bobby knows this deck pretty well. Bill Caminos did earlier as well. Here's a ley line. I was curious if you'd bring this in. Obviously worried about slaughter games a little bit.
Sure. That is a curious addition.
It does stop, taking a look at Jeff's deck list, the slaughter games that we mentioned that we have a feeling are going to come in, and really not much else.
Yeah, it doesn't have much utility outside of that.
Calling Guard going to bring a plant along with it. And we're going to head Jeff's way.
On the flip side, there is a slaughter games in Jeff's hand right now.
Nailed it.
Sometimes things just line up right.
Yeah, and it may have been a turn 3 slaughter games because there's a turn 2 Wall of Roots. A couple copies of Amulet in hand. Here's a Serum Visions. Draw a card. Jeff is F6'd again.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's actually funnier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Am I dead or not? Both cards going to go to the bottom.
And it looks like Bobby needs to dig for one of his payoff cards.
Yeah, he's missing Teleria West or
Summoner's
Pact or a Titan.
Or Titan,
Yeah.
yeah.
Raging Ravine the draw here for Jeff. That'll be the land for the turn. And pass the turn back over to Bobby.
And this is kind of an unfortunate start for Jeff.
It is a slow one, but Bobby hasn't been able to do anything to bust it. Like, this is going to be a very fair Summer Bloom, I think. As fair as that card can be. Let's say that. There's 3 lands. Amulet, and now just Pact Negation is the card left over.
And he doesn't even have one of his Karoo lands to bounce and make a bunch of mana off of these Amulet of Vigors.
Yeah. This is decidedly fair. Wall of Roots will add a green. Here's a Fulminator Mage. Jeff will just pass the turn back. Pact Negation. All right, that'll take care of that. Don't forget to pay. There you go. That'll not be good.
Yeah, so Bobby's saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to do anything with my next turn anyway. That Fulminator Mage could be a big thorn in my side later in the game. Let me just spend my turn taking care of that right now.
Simic Growth Chamber the draw.
And that was a relatively good draw for him.
I've seen worse. Fortanely just going to pass the turn back. Jeff without much going on in his hand. Path to Exile's over there. The Slaughter Games he can't cast. It looks like a Ghost Quarter. Jeff will draw. Bird of Paradise. Ghost Quarter is the land for the turn. A Rumble in the Jungle.
Get him in there. Able to attack and leave the mana up for the Ghost Quarter.
Yep. Raging Ravine going to come across for 4.
And, you know, this is not a great start for Jeff. This is not really how he wanted the game to play out. But if Bobby just blanks for another 2 turns here or so, the creature land's going to get the job done.
Yep. Well, let's go Fortanely's way. Summer Bloom the draw.
Yeah, no help yet. Bobby's going to represent a decision here.
Yeah, not much going on in the hand, as you can see. That Summer Bloom and the Simic Growth Chamber, that's it. But got to show some sort of strength.
Yeah, he wants to keep Jeff on his toes a little bit.
Jeff will draw another bird. There are some birds. These are for, it feels like Court of Calling for the future. He doesn't have one in his hand yet.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he didn't just keep on the pressure.
You keep attacking there, maybe?
I would have, yeah.
Yeah.
but it's possible with the way that Bobby was thinking. You know, he threw Jeff off a little bit.
Slaughter Pact was the draw there for Fortanely. Let's head back Jeff's way. Kiki Jiki the draw.
A little bit lonely, that guy.
Yeah. Getting a little closer to the combo, it seems. He has access to 8 mana this turn. I think it's appropriate to cast this turn. Because if you draw Restoration Angel or Court of Calling next turn,
Yep.
you just flat win the game. Cross your fingers, hope not too much goes wrong. That's about all Jeff can do here. Actually, Jeff's, as far as Titan's concerned, he's got that covered very well.
Yes.
2 Path Exiles in hand. Oh, yeah.
And Kiki getting frisky.
Mm-hmm.
He wants his.
Well, Slaughter Pact is kind of...
He's not going to get his.
Yeah. Slaughter Pact will take care of that.
And Bobby with a lot of time here.
Yep. I don't want to say the infinite combo's off the table now, but it's a lot harder to set up.
Oh, we've seen Jeff rebuild really quick in the past.
Slaughter Pact is paid for. Draw a card. Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Let's go digging.
Yeah. Amulet of Vigor and a Gemstone Mine.
Not what he was looking for.
Nope. It's one of those rare times where just can't find it.
Yeah, we've rarely seen this deck just run out of gas and not really put up a whole lot of a game.
Gemstone Mine, the selection there for Fortanely. 3 mining counter is simply just going to pass the turn back over to Jeff, who's still got those 2 Path Exiles in hand. Again, not much going on for either player here in game number 2 of the finals.
Jeff peeled the land. This is not the exciting conclusion that we were hoping to see here.
I'm excited. Kidding me? I'm having the time of my life.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't figure out the Slaughter games that's stuck in his hand. So let's go to Raging Ravine territory, shall we? Let's give this a shot.
Keep it coming.
Well, you know, if Bobby just keeps bricking off, this will work.
Yeah.
He could eventually just path a token, so. All right. Plat token's going to get a block in.
That's probably a smart block.
I think you want to get it out of the way eventually. Jeff is going to go after the Colony Garden.
So he's identified that if Bobby has a Karoo land, that Colony Garden can just make blockers for a very long time.
Yep. Bajuka Bog. Might as well. We gotta head back Jeff's way. It was a strange game here. Wall of Omens.
Wall of Omens.
Oh, the redraws. That'll trigger. Temple Garden.
Another land.
Yep.
Well, and you see with the creature land and the walls, little offense, little defense.
Ah, yeah.
It's got it all going on.
Both sides of the ball. That's good.
No holes in his game.
Yeah. Temple Guard's going to end the battlefield untapped. Jeff going to fall down to 18. Life total not a concern right now at all. And attack here for 6. Bobby going to fall down to 8.
And he's running out of time.
Yep. Can he find one of the many ways to cast Primeval Titan in this deck? Yeah. Yeah, he can.
Sometimes you just draw it.
Yeah. It took him long enough.
Yeah.
All right, let the thinking begin.
Well, we're going to see a similar line of play that we saw earlier in the event, I believe, where there's a lot of transmuting for more Primeval Titans. And I wouldn't be surprised to see all 4 of them end up on the board this turn.
It wouldn't be too tough. He's going to take a look here at his sideboard, make sure he knows exactly what's going on in here. How deep can he go? All right. Fortanely going to have to take 1 from the Mana Confluence. Going to fall down to 7. Primeval Titan, let the triggers begin. The first one looks like it's going to target Tolaria West and Simic Growth Chamber.
Yep. And we haven't seen any F6 out of Jeff this time.
Oh, look at you. Does that mean Jeff has something?
If I were his opponent, I would think it.
Yeah. There'll be some mana floating here.
Whole lot of mana.
Yep. Simic Growth Chamber and Tolaria West will be the lands. They'll trigger Amulet twice. 4 blue, 2 green. Now Summer Bloom. Oh, you said there was going to be a whole lot of mana. You aren't kidding. So there are 4 land drops available here to Fortanely. That's 1. 2 triggers from the Amulet. So he's going to gain a bunch of mana here. That's 2.
He's really going up here.
Yep. My favorite is when you look for the 7 on the 6-sided die.
Yep.
Everyone does it. I'm guilty every time.
You feel a little bit silly.
Yeah. I'm going to find it one of these days. Transmutes Tolaria West. 4 blue, 5 green floating. Summoner's Pact, which will search for Primeval Titan.
And they're being careful here with the amount of mana that he has available.
As they should be. He's got 9 total, 5 green, 4 blue.
So he's going to be able to repeat this process
A few times.
a few times.
So Tolaria West and Simic Growth Chamber.
And he still has some land drops available to him from the Summer Bloom.
And Jeff, waiting patiently. He has not F6 yet. Boros Garrison, Tolaria West.
Let me get all of these irrelevant cards out of the way.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Being in your personal space.
I didn't mean to ride my bicycle into your tank parking spot.
Looks like 1 red, 1 white floating right now.
So he has plenty of blue mana. He went and searched up the Boros Garrison to power up Sunhome and the other red-white land.
Yep. The Fortress of Legion.
The fortress.
And, of course, the Slayer Stronghold. Still has 2 land drops left. All right, there goes Titan. Yep. So both paths have been cast. Both Titans have been taken care of. Fortanely will get to search for some lands, assuming that he has them. All right, another Summoner's Pact.
Yeah, Fortanelli's deck only runs 2 basics. He already has them in play.
Sure. Now Jeff F6.
Now we're F6.
Uh-huh.
The jig is up.
No more. 4 mana here for Fortanely. Simic Growth Chamber. That's the land drop number 3. He's got 1 left. So, bunch of blue, bunch of green. Return the Gemstone Mine. 3 blue, 3 green. I just like that it's not complicated at all. I think that's my favorite part.
Very smooth transition
I think
from
it's just
one thing to the other.
Yeah, I think it's just a really simple, straightforward deck to play.
Well, the 3rd Titan for the turn is coming down.
Yeah, it is. Red, white mana, red and a white floating. Titan trigger, search up 2 lands. Hey, if you're going to win the turn, you might as well put on a show. Sunholm and Slayer Stronghold. Those look to be the weapons of choice. And Jeff showing these slaughter games in his hand now. And how it was bricked off by the ley line.
He's been a very good sport about all of this.
Absolutely. I think you have to be. Looks like Gruul Turf and Slayer Stronghold. Going to use that on the Titan. Going to use this again. Let's make it a 10 power creature. Remember, Fortanely still has 1 more land drop left in case he needs it.
And he'll also search up 2 more lands when he attacks with the Titan.
Indeed. So the last land will be the Slayer Stronghold. And now it might be time to attack with the Titan. Heyo! Trigger. It's an attack for 10 right now.
10 right now, yep.
Might be more than that, though. Sunholm and Vesuva. And that is going to do it.
All right.
Bobby Fortanely is going to win this match here over Jeff Hoogland, 2-0. Amulet Bloom will take care of Kiki Corden for our number 2 overall seed, who had to rebook his flight once he made the finals. It was certainly worth it. He is your champion here in Cincinnati.
And that deck is something to watch.
That deck is not going to be here much longer. So save this YouTube video because, okay.